time, Audrey.
You got the hot
Just don't be scratching or kicking or nothing like that.
Hi. Hi.
What are you doing this now? What are you doing? I'm standing right there.
It's live. It will be here in a
Oh,
second.
come on, would you stop that? I'm gonna go hide in the corner.
Such a troublemaker.
Am I off the screen now?
We'll just turn it. I was gonna take your chair.
No, I'm just gonna go hide way back here.
Well, I'll move back, and so it looks like an empty room, and you just hear voices.
There you go. I literally am gonna sit back here, you know that.
I guess it's time you're gonna start bringing makeup people and all that. Just like,
So you guys
Fun the
don't
other
want me
night?
to do the makeup. You will look like you're alive.
That was a really good time. There was a good show. There's a lot of people there.
You know, we measure our parties by laughter, and it was a laughter night. Everybody was having a good time. Did you have a good time?
oh, was that the Jonathan?
You know,
Yeah.
coming
Yes, we
from
didn't
work
get back
all
in
day,
town
I'm
in time for
exhausted. I don't do too much at night, so, you know, I dwindle. At 5 o'clock, I dwindle.
I know that
So.
feeling.
But it was nice.
She's so honest.
Huh?
It says you're so honest, you tell it like
That's
it.
the truth. I do.
Oh, today is it?
Today's his last work day. He leaves the city on the 28th, I think.
Is he gonna be here?
He should be. He said. He said he
He
was.
should be.
Yeah.
If not, oh well. We'll just get an early
We'll
start.
Is the city, is
Getting
the
used to
city closed?
getting used to the changes already.
Oh, well,
Is-
yeah, she's handling this well. Oh, well.
Friday?
We'll just move on
Is
without
the
it.
city, yes.
Yeah, we're closed Friday.
You're closed Thursday and Friday. Oh, that's good.
Okay, you're shopping in.
Yes. Black Friday.
No Black
Terrifying.
Friday. We revolt.
I don't blame you. I think this is the first Black Friday I actually will like participate in. So
You'll be frazzled.
It's way too aggressive.
It
I, sometimes I've done it before. For
even if you don't
Why
like
did
stay
your
early.
nose lit all
Camilla,
over
you're not in the
thing?
shot. Look.
That's good. That is exactly what I want, Tom. You're spot on. Come on.
Oh,
you got it.
there
No,
we go.
come on,
I think
Tom.
I'm pretty
As
set
long
at
as
the
he
shop.
doesn't go move that machine over
Yeah.
there.
I'm staring straight at that eye.
My voice is bad enough. Oh, so he agrees.
No, I'm just,
I saw the nod.
You're live right
I
now.
saw the
No,
I can
nod.
see you waving your hand.
Oh, wow. We're gonna stop all things, communication.
Oh, it's got.
You
You guys are live.
With,
Somebody,
like,
can
I'm
somebody,
home.
can you text me? And let me know when you guys are done and I'll run back.
Seriously, I'm
Give my
just gonna
number.
flip that thing closed.
he's
The
gotta
minute
build
you
a
walk
name
out
here.
the door, I'm flipping that. I'm gonna go over there and hit, where's the on and off switch?
You just leave things alone.
And we're live right now. So we got that all on record, that I'm gonna go out and turn it, and I'm forwarding
Camilla Campbell's gonna turn my camera off.
you. Dear, dear,
I
dear.
have no problem with that.
There,
This
you
is
second
all
it.
about
I second it.
transparency in government.
You second it.
Because I think you gave
All
me
in
your phone
favor?
number on my
All in favor, aye.
Aye. Okay.
Andrew, just say aye.
Motion's passed.
Come on.
I've been tricked into that one before.
That's right.
Yeah, we just passed the motion.
We just passed the
Majority,
You know,
Okay.
if you would,
Shut
push
the
the
camera
button
down.
on
Is there
and
4
hold that
people
for
for a
3
quorum?
seconds.
We just shut the camera
Yeah,
down.
just push
Say aye.
and hold 3
But
seconds.
we need a quorum.
I could check, I
know
can
you have
check.
nothing to do with
There we
that.
go.
On my phone, I can
So I
check.
just say aye, Carol, just say aye real quick.
No, there's, you can't say aye until the meeting's
We haven't started the meeting yet.
Alright guys, I have a
we moved to shut
And
down the
early on
camera.
morning, call in here before I couldn't find anybody else to call in, so I had to go in.
This is terrible. Alright guys, you're live right now, just so you know. And I've gotta leave, so I'll be back, so just know
Fancy
that
stick.
you are worldwide.
Wow. We are
So-
worldwide. We're in Trinidad.
No butt scratching, nose picking, any of that stuff.
Is that live?
But
Yes.
that might get you
Yes.
to watch
Said that
us
line.
more up here.
Chair throwing would be okay, because that will get me more views.
Yeah,
You know, confrontation is good,
right.
so.
No deep talks about, never mind.
We
Okay.
won't talk about you, Tom.
Oh, that's okay.
No, we
Fine.
have we done part
What?
Kleenex or paper towel or anything?
Here, Si.
I would have these.
Oh, yes, they
Oh, and I have it in my, right there.
Oh,
I
you don't-
can't see without my glasses,
No,
and I couldn't see
here.
that they were right there.
You don't wanna do that.
Oh,
Those
No,
scratches.
I've scratched those glasses so much. You're so sweet.
Come
What a
on,
board
where's your
you have.
microfiber towel?
Raven.
Wear your
working
microfiber
on
towel
Raven.
on you.
Oh, yeah,
One,
because we have
two,
to carry so
three,
much other stuff,
and
we're
then
gonna carry that.
push the button on this
It's
side.
small.
And then close it this far.
Huh?
I
Yeah,
know.
it's
Those
shut
look
down.
like my
Just
old
push
ones.
the
I
button here.
need, I
No.
need
Right
to
in my-
change you.
Can you hand me a water?
And then text me and I'll come running back. I'm just gonna be working in
And
the
I
yard
always
and
buy
stuff.
these fancy glasses for some reason.
So.
I did it on these.
3 seconds and then it's like.
The non-scratch glasses.
Camilla, come on, get in here close so we can see you.
Move the
But
camera.
the shot is that way, right?
I
Okay.
know.
No, you're there. We're all in it.
I'm not, sorry.
So-
Here, I'll move in there.
So this is still the local channel though, right? You're just.
No. This
Right,
is
you're
on
blocked.
YouTube.
I'm blocked?
This is on Trinidad Times Television, channel 71.
Really?
I'm blocked.
I didn't
You're
bring my
streaming
regular
live?
camera to put it down. You're live right now.
Okay.
Wow.
So fancy.
What's weird
For
is there's
this,
a
probably
delay.
0 viewers.
And then you can go back later and watch this.
I would be really
Yeah.
surprised
Yeah.
if someone at 9 in the morning is bored enough
How
to
do we
just
want
come and watch it.
Go to
We're
YouTube,
streaming
Trinidad
live, I'm
Times
holding my
Television
towel.
71.
I don't wanna watch
It's
that.
like being in the TV section of the store.
You know,
I don't wanna
You got
watch
the camera
myself.
I'll let Raven keep an eye on you guys.
There you go.
And try to encourage Camilla into this
Oh, I
shot.
get it. So you're moving, that's not the camera, the camera's.
No,
over
the
there.
camera's
Oh,
here.
that's-
That is the
that's-
camera's here.
That's the viewing, that's like the
Okay.
TV.
So,
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting way back here.
so now
I
you
know,
know where to look for
You're fine.
those
Move closer.
Yeah, you oughta just
poses.
I'll block you.
turn that puppy on right there and.
Tom, I'm doing this for
Oh,
you.
yeah, we
Thank
all
you.
watch us.
You
You're
mostly just see
welcome.
like,
You're still not in the shot.
yeah. For a second.
Well,
Maybe
it's
good
blocked.
to go then.
Yeah, I told you I'm blocking it.
Okay, so let's call the meeting to order. Turn off cell phones and everything.
Craig here.
Camilla here.
Here,
Here.
no one absent. Petitions or communications, oral or written, and,
I do. It's been a little while, but I talked to Kelly Van Meter, about the, Parks Trails Art Project, and she's on board. So, as soon as I can, I will get together a perspective, and get it out to her and to Tim, and see if we can get something going with that.
very good.
I have a question for Raven. So the hits we had the other, was that a day on the website? What was
The hits.
the 12,000 hits?
Oh,
Tell us about that.
I think that was within the first maybe 48 hours, I think. So.
And
And that was in reference to, so.
Oh, this is in reference to the video that Flycam did
Okay.
for us, and we
Okay.
posted it on Facebook, and it
Uh-huh,
just went
Right.
everywhere. It was awesome.
right.
Cool.
We chose just what you, 30 seconds what people get. Can you imagine if we had like 2 minutes what we'd get? Because, you know, we're the place.
That's amazing.
so I think
And we're just
that's
charging.
an awful lot for our town, I think.
I think it's an awful lot for any town. It would be comparable to, I don't know, somewhere between the size of Springs and Denver to get that many hits in.
Why,
Yeah,
why,
that's better,
do you have
that's
any
greater than our population.
reason
so.
for it? Any explanation?
Shares?
Videos, well,
Did you-
shares.
Did you boost it?
I think Jonathan boosted it once.
Wow.
But honestly, videos just catch on a lot faster than anything because words don't catch people. Oh, pictures will kind of be like, oh,
Well,
okay,
and
but
also
videos
too,
will
the
stop
minute
and
you
look.
scroll down, and if you scroll down, that comes up again, it
Mhm.
automatically
It's a click.
plays.
Exactly.
It automatically plays. You don't have to hit on it to play it. It just
Exactly.
and that's just, cause I don't know how many times I went, scroll down my Facebook page, and you've seen it, and it just automatically plays, and that is a hit. So, you know, there's a difference between actually hitting that to play and scrolling down, but it's still good, yeah. It just automatically plays.
Any other petitions or communications? I guess the one thing I'd like to tell the board is that the Main Street is, and, you know, all of them downtown, all the groups downtown are trying to promote the Christmas season this time of year. There is a contest out for the businesses that are dressed up the best, and already we have already 18 applications.
25.
Okay, and I
25.
have a question for you. Being that you're on Main Street, no one could find a link to go, is it not on the thing yet to go vote?
No, the
That's what I've been telling
voting
them.
isn't open yet.
Right,
Voting
that's what
yet,
I've been telling them. And how do you vote? Just by internet or by the website? Because people are saying,
I
what
think-
about the people that are
yeah.
not on Facebook and the web? So we got, do they come here?
So it's not actually, it's through both websites and Facebook, but it's through SurveyMonkey. So as long as they have access to any.
What if they don't have access? I've got a couple people saying, hey, so I'm
Can
sitting
they
here
come in
going,
and write
Well,
that?
this
I
is-
mean, they can have access to someone else's.
Okay, well,
they can have access, but that goes back to the another question
Let's
is, does it go by email address or can I go in there and vote for myself 1,000 times?
No,
You won't do it. That's what people are asking me and I have
Okay,
no
so the way
idea.
SurveyMonkey and those are set up, they already understand pings from computers.
Okay.
So that is right in the process. If they try to do it, it'll kick out their vote actually
Good,
anyway. So
okay.
that's a built-in thing and that's why Andrew and the city would use it in that circumstance.
And that's what I've been
It's
telling
already built in.
people, so I'm just in the clear, I'm not saying, oh, it's, you could go vote 1,000,000 times, I'm paying,
Yeah.
hey, this is,
Yeah.
Okay.
this is the worldwide.
That's
web
why we went
project.
away from
So-
paper and ballots and
Yes.
all that.
And that's the way of the world. We're not going to, and you don't have to be on Facebook. Once you get that information, you can go to any computer you want. You can go to the library if you don't own a computer. And
Well,
you
that's
don't
what
have a phone.
that's what I told them, and I said,
And
you
vote.
have phones and you have an email and just go
It's
to
just the
your.
modern way.
If you really need to, ask the shopkeeper, be like, hey, I would love to vote for your store, but I don't have a computer, can I use yours?
But then that goes in on my thing and it'll
Then
kick
they
it
don't
out.
do it
Right,
once.
exactly.
It goes, kicks it out because I'm using my email address.
That's okay. They can go down to the,
I
don't
just, you know what I told them? Come down and see you and vote.
Yeah, that's.
No, still, no, there was an older lady.
And it's
Please,
so,
I don't have all the
Andrew, I have a
questions in the
line.
world.
if our worst problem is that we, hey, it's Jonathan!
Sorry, I was at the doctor. I'm all healthy.
Okay.
If our worst problem is that people are trying to figure every computer in town to vote, it'd be great. Now, the only reason why I'm familiar with SurveyMonkey, and the reason why when the city had talked about it, and Andrew had talked about it, just so that everybody satiates themselves and understands this is not only a worldwide app, is that through La Quinta nationwide, through other venues that I've had to place my vote on when I can appear, what I'm doing, if I'm gonna show up for the conference online, they all use SurveyMonkey. So SurveyMonkey isn't something that Andrew or the city just blindly said, we're gonna do it this way. This is a nationally recognized company that understands how to.
That's what I basically asked people, but I just wanted to make sure if I was telling them right,
Yeah.
you know, because that could be shooting off my mouth.
Did you,
Yeah.
did you do the retail survey that we did earlier this year?
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
It was on SurveyMonkey.
Okay. Well, no, it wasn't, it was just people asking me, I didn't know if it was gonna be on SurveyMonkey. It basically, people said, what prevents somebody from going in and voting for 1,000 points? And I basically looked at it and I said, I'm sure the city's got that down pat.
Well-
Basically, I was very nice, but I basically said, I'm sure they got that down pat, that you can't do it.
People know what you eat, the technology, this
It's amazing.
is amazing. So those companies are set up because they're proven to be reliable by major businesses and
Right.
companies across the US, and that's why they're used.
Well, that's what I've been telling them, so I just wanna make sure I was right and I know.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
in addition to the surveys and accounting and everything, we drove the town last night. It's starting to look really nice.
I've had people message me saying, through Messenger, saying, okay, everybody argued about it, but way to go. It's really working out in the
Well,
community.
I haven't decorated it all yet, there you go,
But
I've
you're
decorated
decorated all the
inside.
time.
But, yeah, I'm decorated every year, but, you know, we just haven't had the time, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah,
I got
it's-
the inside decorated, but I just haven't
You
done
know, the
that.
city was early with their lights. You know, everybody, town's really starting to look festive.
And
It
it's
just,
gonna
we
be
just
so
need
good.
2 feet of snow.
No,
No.
we
Yeah.
want that, we need
You
1
didn't do
inch.
quite well.
It's coming.
You didn't want me to come
we
into
got
City
that
Hall
on
like
the
I did
18th.
last year, right?
Okay,
Like a
the
wild
other,
woman.
the other notices that I would like to know, we are having the trolley in the parade, the lighted parade this year, just driving through. I really want that to happen, and I'm not make a problem there.
We all
Is it
looked at
lipstick
you
up
when you
here?
did that.
Any chance,
I was trying to be discreet about it. I was like,
I'm not,
Okay.
any
Still there.
chance
I was in a hurry, I had to get up at 6 a.m.
on the trolley?
you can ride on
Pardon
the
me?
trolley.
Any chance of carol orders on
Schedule
the
that?
trolley?
I, you know what, for years and years, people have asked if we're gonna have the trolley. We always have the trolley as long as it's running. I have never ridden the trolley, but I would really like to this year, because I have a granddaughter.
You could ride in it.
If you sing, you can ride it.
I will sing, I will sing, I will. Okay,
So how would we,
But we have-
you know, if we wanted to have carolers on the trolley?
Yeah, let's
and
do
the
it.
trolley leading the parade?
No.
No.
Behind?
It'll be up to who, the hometown holidays.
Yeah.
They're the ones in charge of
They're in
it.
charge of it?
We just told them we'd put the trolley in it.
So if we
And
wanted
usually
to
the trolley's
contact
last, so-
somebody, would be
Okay.
hometown holidays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that.
so for sure, they've already been contacted, they know that we're showing up, and where would we meet?
Oh shoot, I don't know.
Safeway parking lot, usually they meet.
It's usually there.
What I'll probably end up doing, well no, because yeah, check on that, Raven, because I don't know, and then we can send out an email.
Yeah, and I mean, we're gonna wear like Santa hats or whatever else, but anybody that wants to, you know, there is a young youth, choir that, is affiliated with Mount Carmel. I wonder if they were practicing for their, singing, are they, or nobody here would know, are they in the parade? If they're not, maybe the following week, cause those are a bunch of nice kids.
They might be in the parade,
Should we
but
get a hold of Penny or Pat?
Well,
or-
I got it, that was a loud thought, but I can find out myself with just a text, but they would be really great.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else got any petitions, communications, oral or written? Okay, policy items, consideration of sponsorship for the 2018 New Legends magazine. Steve, you're up.
I'm up. Or I will be, okay. So, yeah, I'll just kind of pass these.
I think they're in
I
our
think they're in
packet.
the packet.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're in the
well,
packet.
this is a little different
Oh, okay.
than what I sent, but yeah, shows a little more.
Make sure you get
Two more.
so you can fit it in.
There it is.
One for me.
Oh, they're gonna have it here.
One
more.
I'll hit you off the pass here.
One more.
Yeah, just pass
He's
it.
going that way.
Okay.
Who
One
else-
more for me.
Who else doesn't have one? Raven and.
Oh yeah, this
and
has the price on it.
Deal with the produce package thing. Okay. Everybody get one? Andrew?
I'll just look off Jonathan's,
Oh.
this is the last day of me using that one.
Here, go ahead. Give Jonathan his very own. Would you like one?
Sure.
There you go. And the, first thing, just kind of catch you guys up a little bit, because one thing I like to start with is just really thank the Tourism Board for initially helping us get kick-started with our first edition we got going. It was great of you guys, and the demand was so great to pick up the tab to print that second half of this first summer. And we've kind of gone from there. Originally, we were just going to be twice a year, but people just want to see it more often every time out. So we went to quarterly, as you may know. So now we come out, winter's coming up in January, and then we do winter, spring, summer, and fall that we just did. Our distribution, printing, distribution, readership, more than doubled for year two. Year one, we ended up with 65,000 total for the year, and this year for 17, we got 112,000 books going out. And the reason I'm here to speak with you guys is the demand is even greater than that. I mean, we can't keep up as it is, because once we started in the spring pushing to what I call the old flatlanders that I used to be from Oklahoma. So we, West Texas, Oklahoma, Southwest Kansas. Of course, our idea is to push to areas that we are a comfortable drive to get to, and we're the first access to the mountains for all the flatlanders. And so instead of them driving through us to get to other mountain areas, because you guys all know that because you live here, you know, we have all the stuff, beautiful stuff that people could want. We just kind of kept ourselves a secret for too long, I think. So that's one of the big things we say up here about the Sangre de Cristo region, is by working together, we got to make ourselves, you know, make our region a vacation destination when it comes to tourism, but just a destination. That's a big push. I know we have the same mission, is, you know, we got to quit being a bathroom stop on the highway and hope people come into town. And especially with the advent of all the art projects that we have going on, I'll show you that the idea with when you're selling items like art that can get very expensive, if people aren't, if you're not the destination for them, you're not the destination for their money. And I know the artists share the same sentiment. I learned that when I first came here and had my gallery open. When people are heading somewhere else, they'll spend $50, $60, something like that, but they're not going to buy a $2,000 piece of art because that money's not destined for here. So those are the things we're working hard to change. And just like you guys, like I say, we all have the same mission here. So that's the idea of us working together, because we started the outreach, like I said, to the 3 states out there on our border, Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. And it started off with a fairly decent amount of books going out, but it was about 5-6 boxes a week that would get out. But that's just grown to a point that we simply can't put any more out until we print more, because we'll end up shorting our own region to do that, and run short. So anyway, that's basically, as you can see here, what we're looking to do is increase it for 18 up to 200,000 magazines, which is almost double again for the 3rd year. And that's going to, and that equates to conservatively about 600,000 readers, and I think it's probably going to be closer to 1 million, because the books really get left out for other people to read and passed around, especially out of state. I get that feedback all the time. Even the distribution that we mail out, we don't have a huge, but we really haven't started asking for subscriptions. I think this last magazine, we put a little thing in there, and we only charge for the postage. But just people that have called and requested, and we send out, we have 15 different states that we mail to, and some of those.
What are the states that you mail to?
Well, I should list that. Of course, we mail out Colorado, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Illinois, California, New York, Florida.
3, and we can put them on Raven's desk. Thank you, buddy.
I can see that list though.
Okay,
But,
this is super interesting. Is there any place, while you've been going down this journey, is there any place where you found that you're mailing more, or a market segment that you didn't expect?
There are several areas that I didn't really expect. One, I didn't expect us to be such a hit out of state. As I say on a little thing, Texans love New Legends. And because the growth of all that is not us going in and asking people, hey, can we leave books? It's actually people getting a hold of us and going, hey, how do I get those books that I've seen at so-and-so different places, especially with the major hotels. Because, we have to be, kind of picky when we start hitting the bigger areas. Otherwise, we'd have to print 1 million books to try to cover them. So we try to do, things that are definitely traveling tourists and also kind of high, good demographic. So that's been a pleasant explosion for us. The other one is, I am pleasantly surprised at the younger audience that I get feedback from all the time. I mean, I didn't think, people of Raven age would even, what's this old man looking thing? With the history, because the history thing is kind of, I think, is what's made it really take off. But gosh, I get stuff all the time from either parents telling me how their kids, asking their kids, you learn that in school? Where you learn all this stuff? Oh no, it's that New Legends magazine. And I remember, one young lady at Big R at the cash register said, I love that magazine. She's about 20 years old. I have it pinned up on my wall at home. I go, okay. Now we're up there with Justin Bieber. Get pinned up on wall. So
I got a couple questions for you.
yeah.
What are your plans for 2018 for the legends? Who are you gonna write about, or do you have that formulated yet, things that you want to have in
I wish I was that organized, but no, but we've kind of developed a little bit of a theme quarter to quarter. For example, now we're go back to the kind of the Old West for winter is going to be, you know, famous gunfight fighters of the, so we can, you know, talk about your bullet hole in the store. You know, that's because that's the thing with the new legends is we do the history, but then we bring it forward. And then first for the spring, it's going to be more about artists of the region.
Okay.
And so that's kind of our emphasis for that one. But I'll be honest, summer and fall, I haven't tied that completely.
And then, if you would just think of maybe a way to tie in some of the history from, let's say, the Texans and their connection with Trinidad as far as legends. So
Right.
if there was somebody who came out of, you know, San Antonio who was infamous or famous through Trinidad, we could tie into these other states so that they have a feeling like, oh yeah, I know all about Billy the Kid. You know, I know all about
Right.
it. You know.
That's a good idea, and we're already like, this will be the final and third segment of the Goodnight Loving Trail. That's a story we've been running, 3-part series, so we've run the last 2 editions, and this will be the third, which is exactly that.
Okay.
It's bringing the cattle from Texas up through New Mexico, and then came right up through Trinidad the first time, and then they didn't like paying Wooten for the toll, so it swung over to coming up through Branson after that. But basically, yeah, we have that, and it's, yeah, many of the characters, you know, that we highlight, we do try to give some background to where they came out of. Krieger, for example, you know, he came out of Missouri, and through that, one of the guys we're highlighting, Clay Allison, is pretty well-known Texas, as well as New Mexico. And then I want to touch on that just a little bit too, because we also last spring, you know, moved to being a full regional publication. So we're not, you know, we're not just Trinidad, but the reason for that, and I believe this ever since I've really been here, is to make yourself a destination. We need to pull from all the assets we have in our little region of, I call the Sangre de Cristo region, but that way we can put together things that people will be able to stay for a 2-3 day long weekend, or a week, or even 2, depending on their interest. But what we're working towards too is taking, as I say in a little slogan there, discover the hidden treasures of the Sangre de Cristo. And then that's kind of enticing in itself. People like hidden treasures and all that. But that gives us a lot marketing wise to do, because anything can be a hidden treasure, you know. And those are the things we're moving towards as well, is doing some more than just the magazine. We already do with the website, and if you haven't checked it out in a while, we're really beefing it up now. So it's newlegendsmag.com. It's at the bottom on there, and our Facebook and social presence. Actually hired a couple of young people that keep it up. So if you haven't checked it out, you'll see every day on Facebook, and it's also on the calendar on the website. We have daily things that are going on, as well as highlight major events for the year, so people can start planning. Because a lot of times, like, as you know, with the Blues Fest, you know, we're going to have people come from all over. Well, you got to get on their radar early for that, so they plan out. And the reason I brought the 2 magazines, one quick thing we do, there's a version that we do for in-state, and there's a version we do for out-of-state. And we do that to protect our dispensaries from any action against them. Because, so you'll see,
Is that the out-of-state one?
you guys can push that around. This is the way you can tell is when you first open, you look at Canico's ad. If it has Canico, both, then it's the in-state. As you see on that one, it just has their CBD thing. And what we did for them, just quickly, we went through all their legal things to make sure everything was good. But we leave the stories, the informational stories about cannabis, and we just then replace with some PSA ads, which is nice that we can do that for some of the groups. But we also have for more information about cannabis in Colorado, come to New Legends Mag, to the New Legends website, and when they come to our website, then when they go to cannabis, the dispensaries have their sites that you can link to. So we give them a legal kind of roundabout way to keep it legal to still be able to give them a presence out of state. And what we're looking at, with this, and why I'm coming to talk to you all, is I kind of have three choices. One, just sadly not expand the magazine distribution, which is my least favorite choice. The other one is to significantly raise the advertising rates, but that defeats the purpose of what we started the magazine for, because I haven't raised the rates since they were based on a $40,000 a year, $20,000 an issue thing, and we more than double, tripled that. Comparable magazine with the same or less distribution are 3 times what we charge or more. But we didn't create the magazine as just a big money maker thing. I mean, we created the magazine to get the word out and promote those hidden treasures that we have here. So to not have to raise the rates so much, that's why I'm here asking for some help with the printing on the extra. And I'm talking to the other lodgers tax folks. Haven't got a chance to meet. I've got the preliminary stuff involved, so I can't tell you their response.
Other lodgers tax, you mean like in Walsenburg?
Walsenburg, Raton, actually Little Springer already got on board for what they could, they could afford $1,000 a pop, which is a lot for a little town like Springer.
So did they do $4,000 a year? Is that what they did? Or?
Yeah, they're doing. Yeah, they could do $1,000 an issue, and so I don't know what they're going to end up doing, but I'm kind of looking at when I speak to Trinidad and Raton, you guys definitely have far bigger, budgets. I know you have a lot of demands too, but have far bigger budgets. And very honestly, as we attract people here, Trinidad and Raton are the center of that whole region. So the great thing you guys were doing there for a while, talking about the base camp idea, that's kind of fits in a little bit with that. Like, if you don't want to move on your different treks through the region, we definitely are best suited to be the base camp for people to stay in, because everything in our region is a comfortable hour at the most to get to different things. And that's back to, with the region, is for us to, my little 3 Ps, and one of them's not pot, but it's take those hidden treasures, polish them up a little bit if they need it. We try to step in, as you may or may not know, I don't charge people to do their ads for them, help them with marketing and stuff like that. And so polish is the first. Okay, the next one is package. Okay, and we need to start packaging up things for folks, because just like if you go on Disney's site, they don't just say, hey, we got a park here and a park there and this and that and that. Yeah, choose what you want. We got some hotels, we got some restaurants. No, you go in there, Disney packages things up for folks. And that's what we need. We're going to be working on this year really big, is the packaging aspect of it. We're already doing a little, Jeannie's putting together a group coming in from La Junta, little Cushman motorcycle group. But, we're kind of doing that as a little test run to see how to put these things together. And this is stuff that,
So what are they gonna do?
well, what she proposed a couple of things for them to do. And one was, you know, they'll come here, because they're limited. The little Cushmans can only go about 40, 50 miles in a day or something. So we kind of have them, they'll actually stay at some different places. So they'll have, you know, kind of like a motorcycle run of any kind. You stay here, and you stay at this town, you know, this place, and see the different areas. So there's a couple ones that, you know, we try to hit the highlights of the region. You know, Highway 12 definitely, you know, but there'd be a good solid day in Trinidad to promote, you know, the art and the shopping and all that, and restaurants. And I think we move them up the highway, I believe. I have to double check on what the itinerary, but that's the idea of it. And it's back to the idea of using the whole region, because, you know, we can package up and go after specific interest groups with things, not just shotgun everything all the time. And for example, if you know, for people who love antiques, okay, antique shopping, any one of our towns basically will hold their interest for, you know, half a day, maybe a day at best. But if we put together the tour, where and I'll just go north-south, you know, but we start, and you do the antique shopping up in the Walsenburg area, antique, you know, shopping Highway 12, antique shopping in Trinidad, and, you know, go on down to New Mexico. That way, you really get to keep them here for several days, and once again, they're bringing their dollars to us to spend. You know, they're not catching us on the drive-through somewhere else. Because the other thing about, one thing I haven't done and don't intend to do, talking about dollars for the magazine, the numbers we have, I'd have no problem going getting all this money from outside interest, outside of our region. For example, the casinos or ski lodges or any of that kind of stuff, or even big shopping or big tourist attractions outside. What good does that do us? It just puts us back in the drive-through mode again. So I've actually turned down those dollars, and I don't pursue those dollars. If I ever put anything in, it could be something, you know, like a orthopedic specialist that we don't have in town. Maybe. I mean, I have a doctor in Springs, and they want to do it, and I'm kind of not done it yet. But you know, that's the only consideration I would have, because once again, defeats the purpose of doing that just for the dollars. So yeah, so please don't force me into that kind of stuff.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions or input?
I just wanna say thank you.
Yeah.
The autumn book was fantastic.
Well, I would like to hope you liked it there, Miss Haunted House of the town. Yeah, I thought I love Dean's story. Anyway, what was the other thing? Oh, the other thing I was going to mention is, please do friend us, or whatever it takes. That's why I hired young people to do that for me. You know, please, with all your events, and or email to me. My email's at the bottom of that, and you know, and I'll get stuff on the web page as well. But please go take a look at them. You'll see we're in the process of totally overhauling it. Like I said, our goal is to be the information source, because as we do other outreach to areas and expand it on into the Dallas, Austin, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, you know, Wichita markets, we're not going to be able to kill them with magazines. We like to have too many, but we'll be doing some other things, especially using, you know, social media, but internet presence into there, into penetration of those markets. And what we'll be doing with that is much like when you see California, Texas, or anybody promote just the general state. The idea is to do things to get people excited, like you were talking about that 12,000 kids, you know. But we'll get them excited, but what we do is we bring them to the New Legends website, because we use the website as basically a marketing umbrella for the region. Because that's simply what we have never really had for the region.
Right.
Okay, but that's, please send us anything.
Don't leave just yet, Steve, because,
Sure.
so last night at council, have a seat, Steve.
Sure.
Last night at council, it was pretty much apparent that council felt that the community didn't quite understand that marijuana monies, doesn't grow on trees. Everybody kind of assumes that we have all this money flush.
Of course.
Yeah, and so they were talking that they want to start bringing the community in to let them understand, how much money do we actually have. Tourism, economic development, cannabis, parks and rec, the lottery fund, because the lottery fund goes and upkeeps our parks and recreation, our parks, Chimino, and it's actually been cut. So I just want to, what you guys decide is up to you, but you've seen the budget. ED did pick up the visitor's guide.
That was such a nice going away present of yours.
I got a little bit in trouble for that one, but that's okay. So I freed up monies for you to utilize next year in terms of however you feel you need to use it. I do want to point that the trolley was paid off. The old trolley was sold for $13,000.
Oh, it was, who bought it?
I don't know, some group out of Alabama. But I think what ended
So
up
do we get the
happening,
13,000?
I think it's going to go to pay off the trolley.
Oh, okay.
So, because
Okay, that's fine, fair, it's a trade-in.
it is.
Trade-in.
And plus, we were asking for marijuana monies to be used to pay
Yeah.
off half the trolley, because
Yeah.
we paid half. It was a
Plus
good
13.
partnership with the city council. So with that, but even though we saved money, you're taking on the welcome center now.
Yeah.
And did you know that, Steve? Tourism Board now is funding the welcome center. So yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that kind
Something
of
else I wanna
sideswiped
talk
us
about.
on that one.
What's the,
That's about 100,000 a year.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
there goes our money.
Which
We
is,
weren't-
a
we
third of our
weren't,
budget
hey,
for
Steve,
more.
we weren't very happy with that one either. I can say that now.
Yeah, that's a,
It's your final day.
It is my final
change
day.
there.
So what you do have left over, and I'm also doing this because I'm training Raven to be your guiding financial principal. She did the agenda this time. So we have 75,000 budgeted for advertising, but we've encumbered 69,000. So we have 5,000 left over for that. However, in local grant expense, because of the way that ED, we have 31,000 left over. So I did as much as I could to give you as much money for next year that you could have to do whatever you want.
So basically 36 grand.
You have 36 grand left. However, that's budgeting at 260,000. We are already at 279 for this year, and we're projecting it's going to go up more next year. So you're going to have more for 2019 than you are for 2018. You have $25,000 for outside contract, and remember, you don't have to spend everything line item by line item. You just have to keep it in the fund balance. So if you didn't want to use $25,000 to do your website or for the printing, you could reallocate that somewhere else. So when you look at your budget, always keep this with you, and Raven's going to start doing quarterly updates like I used to do, so you know where the monies are at currently. You don't have to spend $25,000 in outside contracts. If you wanted to do Steve's sponsorship, all you would do is Raven would make a note, it would go in advertising, but you wouldn't spend outside contracts. It's just accounting principles.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to let you know, even though it looks like you don't have money in here in that specific line item, you do have money to do whatever you want. And this is a policy item, so nothing would be done today because it's greater than the 5,000 that you've given us limits for. Raven she will bring forward advertising that's not encumbered so she can get used to the process, see what you guys are comfortable with and all that stuff. So that's what I just wanted to let everyone know, that you do have money. It's just going to be accounting gimmicks to balance it out.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to let
I
them know.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad, done by myself. Why, I had no idea you guys had to take care of that. Wow.
But
That's no small item.
But they're actually major changes will be occurring to the Welcome Center, which will save them some money.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, Raven's gonna work for free on the weekends.
It's not Raven that I'm worried about.
Oh, okay.
It's Kathy.
Well, you
Yeah,
know.
I'm kidding.
And that's, you know, and
Good
a
one.
quick note about us trying to stretch our dollars every bit that we can. You know, because I certainly hope Raven wants to work with me more on a lot of these things, especially your guys' pages. As you see, you know, we'd be expanding. So, you know, we have things like museums, a lot of the nonprofits, but we just don't have the dollars to give them a lot of space like we'd like to. But that's what would happen, you know, like, you're not just handing us money just for printing, but we'd be expanding that. But also, I think what's, you know, really important for us to work together on is that calendar. Because right now, you know, they're good, bad, and ugly calendars for all the different places. We're already doing a pretty good job of getting people to feed us information, but it'll grow.
So you're
very
doing
quickly.
a calendar of Trinidad with
Things to do.
Well,
memorabilia
of the region,
Of
of the whole region, but, and that's the big thing, is there's nothing, trust me, I wish there was, it made my job easier to have not only a calendar, but all the businesses and everything else.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was a ton of work to
Right.
put that together, because it's not just sitting there. But the point being is, you know, too often it's put on, you know, one person in the city or in the group, if it's a chamber, whatever, to do so much of it, or it's volunteers who all have businesses to run,
Uh-huh.
and you can't really do that as much as you'd like to. And I think that's where these things tend to fall down. And that's really, like I said, one of the reasons I created the New Legends Productions is to be an independent but work together with all the organizations, so that's what we do. It's not a part-time thing, it's not a volunteer thing, and we do it 24/7. I mean, our folks update things on the weekends, they update every day of the week, and things of that nature. But that's where, by working together, instead of, you know, having to go do some of this redundantly, you know, like us both doing the same thing, you're welcome, anybody's welcome to anything we have. And the reason for that is, once again, like I said, this is not just how can I grind every penny out of this money maker. No,
Right.
how can we help the region? Well, how can we do that? It's by working together, sharing things, getting on each other's Facebook, social media. I mean, we love working, you know, with the World Journal and the Chronicle News and you know, and the radio stations and stuff like that, to try to, you know, they're welcome to all our information. They'll give us information, you know, they friend up and get on there. So by working together, we get more bang for our buck and our time spent. Anyway, once again, thank you guys.
No, no, no,
Thank
no, no, no,
you.
hold on. Are you listed on Colorado.com?
You know, I don't think so, but we
You
probably,
need to do that. You
I will
need to
double
get the
check
business
that.
registered on there.
okay.
It's
I will-
free.
It's free.
Oh, well, I, my notes, yeah, my
Notes.
notes,
You need
thank
your
you.
notes.
It takes a couple of minutes to do it, and it takes a couple of days for them to do a verification and get back to you. And
It's
then you
spelled
can
out
link that-
Colorado?
Colorado.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a lot of people hit on there, that's where we get those addresses from. Which reminds me, have we figured out what we're doing with those addresses and sending those
We're not
journals out?
we're not sending any right now because we're about to go into the new production,
Okay.
and plus she's gonna get a label maker, so it's a lot easier for her to actually send it out.
Mel said she'll handwrite them.
Nah, we wanna print them. Yeah.
Well, and one of the reasons too that, you know, we welcome you to, you know, if to use our stuff to update the site for Trinidad, because that's what, as my SEO guy says, you have a big, you know, this little link farm going on here. He said, normally that's not good, but what you're trying to achieve, it's great. Because that's what we do, is like we'll link back to people's Facebooks if it's a business doing something. But we definitely, and we want to give more prize. You guys become a major sponsor. We'll go back on the front cover as a major sponsor, but also on the website, you know, we want to make those links. That's a part of what we're going to be doing too, is in all the different city chamber links very prominent, so people can find them quickly. Because what we're gearing this for, you know, two things. One, we've always wanted for all the locals to start shopping with each other more instead of driving by all this stuff going out of town. And the other is for the people that are looking for a place to go. You know, we always have to approach it as they've never heard of us, they know absolutely nothing about us. So, you know, that's why you know, we need to have, you know, different interest things. But we want to help you have a better website.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Really,
So-
thanks so
Thank you.
much. I just encourage everybody before we make a decision next time to go ahead and look at the website too. I have it, just so that we're well informed. Okay, thanks,
All right,
Steve, so
thank you.
much.
Thank you guys, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Sorry I missed your party. You back in town. We tried.
It's okay, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, you stopped so early, you old people.
The next one, consideration of advertising for Orphan World Journal publication for 2018. Does everybody have time to look over that? It looks like the cost to that is.
So I don't normally voice my opinion, but I went and advertised with them this year.
With Orphan.
Yeah.
I normally voice my opinion, but I agree.
Yeah.
I would rather take that money
We'll
somewhere
do
else.
that in the regular session,
Session,
so we're
yeah.
all familiar with that.
Yeah.
There's one more thing too, I did want Kathy to sit at the table and see if there was any information that she could tell us about the Welcome Center, how it was running, where you're seeing people from, what's your highs and lows.
We're seeing people from Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska. Yesterday we had a tour bus come in from Albuquerque, so they half of them came in, but we counted the whole 46 visitors
Nice, so where
on
did
the
they
bus. They stopped at McDonald's and they split up. Some of them, I was told by those that came in, had gone up to Safeway, but they only had a limited amount of time. So a lot of them just went to McDonald's, you know, right there on the corner. And then they loaded up the bus about 2 o'clock, so they probably had an hour there.
So do most guests that stop at the Welcome Center go ahead and go downtown and eat and get that information?
I know that I suggest that if they're going to be spending time, I always ask, you know, a lot of them are in a hurry and want to get back on the road. But by asking questions, do you have time, and explain and take out the map and show them where the eateries are, suggest things to them and of that nature.
But you have a lot of job, you don't always do that. How do the volunteers handle people like that?
The volunteers,
That's everything right there now.
they are so set in the,
So we need to do a little more
get them more enthusiastic about the other areas. They're always giving the Highway of Legends out.
That's
So
okay.
I take them go up. I have to watch what I say because, but
So it sounds like they need a morale boosting, a little education.
they could use a
Okay.
shot in the arm of getting enthusiastic
Can
about.
we somehow set that up? You work with Kathy and the volunteers and find out when there would be a good day that we could start maybe having quarterly meetings with all the volunteers.
How many are there?
17.
Right now there's like 17, and it's kind of confusing because, you know, I've been organizing the brochures and everything, and I noticed that they just sit at the desk and they're not in the back room loading things up. Well, in talking to them, it turns out that they're under the impression, because we're paid employees, that they don't have to do any of that.
It's honestly,
Is that true?
That's true.
Okay then.
That's true.
Thank
That's
you
what
for
I've said.
Okay,
They're
then thank you for
volunteers.
correcting
They
me.
should just be selling the community. They shouldn't be doing cleaning operations. They should not be filling the brochure racks. They should be notifying you that the brochure racks need to be filled, but they're not
Okay.
paid, so you.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that was kind of like, maybe it wasn't explained clear to me or to Jen, I guess.
Well, and that's the one thing that Tara's been talking about with you guys, doing kind of those work sessions about what's best practices, what is not. 'Cause she'll be a good one because she ran the Welcome Center for about 2 years here, and it did pretty well then. But I've already made a note, and so has Raven, that out on the agenda, number 2 will be a tourism center update. So make sure you have, and write this down, numbers for the month. And this will be at the end of the month. Because you don't want the numbers from the beginning. But at the end of the month, tourism center numbers, and you can access that data because you've got it on the iPad, where they're from. So do it as a percentage. You know, we had 38 visitors. 20% was from Texas, 50% was from Colorado. That way you guys can kind of see where, and then if you can, top city or metro areas. That way we can send those magazines out or visitors guides, and then whatever else tourism board wants to know. Okay.
Okay, I will work on getting that information.
So then your next presentation will be on December 28th.
And I would really like to know the list of the current volunteers and the estimated hours that they worked in the previous month. Because that means a difference to me in case I see them at the grocery store or something now, to thank them for their volunteering, is to talk about, you know, tourism in general with them.
And so between the, I'm glad Carol wrote that down, but between then and now, is go to the Welcome Center and just kind of take notes. That way Tara knows what to work on, knows your general impressions, stuff like that. Because I know I've already talked to you a lot about it, and I know I've talked to you about it.
So I guess the question I would have is, like, if I was from Texas and I ended up stopping at the Welcome Center, what would make me say to my friends from Texas, who also comes through Trinidad, we have to stop at the Welcome Center because, what is that thing?
Okay. So my suggestion would be to go off of what Carol had mentioned last time of doing, because it was from the SoCo Tourism Conference, about for every hour traveled, they need an hour to do something. So get with Raven and list and make a brochure. If you're only here for an hour, 6 hours are a day. And then do a brochure based on that with our new branding and design. And then if they're at the Welcome Center, or if they're in one of these businesses, oh, you're only in here for a half a day, well, here's a brochure of the things to do. It won't be huge, but it'll be a little informational brochure of, and then we'll also do a brochure for restaurants and a brochure for shopping. That way, you give them the visitor's guide, but then you can stick in some pull-out stuff too, because I remember that's what Carol's wanted us to do this past year, but we got the photo contest and the visitor's guide. So now that we've got all those things done, you guys can work with Raven about what you'd like to see on those brochures.
And
That's good.
As another side note that should have really been communications was, I found out yesterday at the meeting, Andrew, that the people from Highway 12 group have bought 4 bike racks for the community and one
viewing station.
One viewing station that's going to be put up at the top of Fisher's Peak. Not Fisher's Peak, at the top.
Simpson's Run.
So ED purchased the viewing station, but the highway, the bikes and byways or something like that, bought 4 bike racks.
And they will be all located in town.
And then Main Street's doing 4 or 6.
Yeah, Main Street's doing some too.
Do we have a place to rent bikes, or can someone promote
Brett
that?
Kirby's looking into that.
Yeah, that would be a
we
awesome
tried to
thing.
do it for a while, but insurance didn't cover it for us.
Insurance is really expensive.
Yeah.
You know what else would be helpful, Raven, is a good city map of the whole town. People really want to see the whole, right now we're giving out photocopies that are enlarged from like the phone book, but they are really, especially we get a lot of people come in looking up relatives and stuff and want to see the streets. So if that's at all possible in your budget to get a nice, I know Trinidad Left's company had one,
It's really outdated.
but it's outdated.
It's better than a phone.
We don't have.
We don't have
those
anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, she just said you guys were giving away phone book
Well,
copies.
So we do have a map, and it's the map that's inserted, the downtown map. But
From the visitors guide
I would
he's talking
seriously not worry don't ask tourism to pay for that, because tourism is supposed to be for lodging and retail. Get the city to do the city map with our branding.
Thank you.
And we can.
Because there's no point for tourism to spend money on Cougar Canyon directions.
We could make it like a fun map too, because there's the ability to make them. Have you seen those maps?
Oh, yeah, those are great. I love
I
those maps
know
when
in
I
the
go
past
somewhere.
we've had those around here with the fun,
They look like a comic
what
book.
happened in
Almost, yeah.
Trinidad.
Yeah.
So they when things are you're supposed to go to, then they have nice,
Mhm.
exciting visuals to sort of
Mhm.
move you.
I would love that for
Dean?
this town.
Dean would be interested in doing something like that. The thing is that he needs a lot of time because he's working full time, you know, so it'd have to be, you know, a few months to get him to do that.
To make a map, you mean?
Yeah, to make a comprehensive map like that, that they're, like they're talking
Are you
about.
talking about, is there a program
Dean's
that you're talking about?
And it's not a program, but a lot of cities have them, and they're very artistic. They almost look like they're a piece of art, but they're a map that also sort of describes all the attractions.
So it would be down James.
They look like
Yeah.
hand-drawn
Yeah, he's done all
buildings
kinds
and-
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I have a comment to make, and I'm gonna make it from a small business point of view, so that we understand what I get more, people in the shop from the Legends magazine than I do from the Welcome Center. Now, we're spending $100,000 as tourism on the Welcome Center, so for the small businesses in town, we need to get a better return
Right.
off of that money. So,
That's a good point.
so from tourism's point of view, stepping back in as tourism,
Uh-huh.
we really need to invest some time and some effort
Okay.
down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we do,
Because
because
it's ours.
Right.
people quit taking the Legends and start taking our tourism book from my shop. That's the one they really, that's one thing going, not the Legends hasn't been going for me. Our tourism book
I think
is-
what everybody's,
it's just simple to read and everything, and it's going out for me a lot better.
I think what I'm hearing though is that you're saying that with the money that we're putting in print material, that for the ROI for that, is that we should really be spending time figuring out how to inspire these employees and have them go downtown and sell the town. Because
Volunteer.
more
Yeah,
people
when they
are
hit the-
coming, more people are coming into town because they see the Legends magazine than they stopped at the Welcome Center and those Welcome Center people got.
Now they're only 4 blocks away from me.
Yeah,
So
right.
how do we get them
Right.
that?
Well, I
that
still
last
think
4
that
blocks?
those volunteers have to have a walking,
Right.
a walking tour.
Yeah.
No matter, you could have, the maps, you mentioned they wanna know where her family live, the streets. You
I don't know
know,
if
that's
I don't know if
not
that's
gonna,
the
that's
welcome
not gonna happen.
centers.
I think
I don't know if
that's,
that's
To
the
have the
welcome.
whole,
there's too many on the phone that they could Google their phone address and stuff like that. But for, I have a map downtown.
A fun
and
map,
different
yeah.
things, yeah.
Yeah, I like the fun map.
It's really not tourism board's job to encourage people to visit their relatives.
Cause 90%,
Their
a
job
lot
is
of
to
these
heads on
relatives are,
beds
are from
and
Starkville
retail.
and Valdez
Okay.
and stuff like that.
I use that as an example, but a lot of people want to explore the town and see certain areas also, but I understand what you're saying.
But that's why I said maybe
But if,
Raven can ask the city to
City
do a
to-
city map.
Yeah.
to put a city map out,
And so I guess the next thing is, then who else is employed, not a volunteer at the city?
We can get you a list.
Well, I'd like for them to show up at the next,
I think maybe your next meeting or every alternate meeting should be at the Welcome Center.
okay, that's good, no, I agree.
That
Mhm.
way,
That's fine.
that
That's a
way,
good one.
that way.
They don't have to
Maybe
go.
the work session, not the decision-making one.
Right.
Yeah, the
Or
work
however
session,
you wanna do
yeah.
that.
Use my
The
old
work
office.
session.
Yeah.
No, it'd be the conference room.
It's just it's big enough.
Because they don't see us either.
Yeah, right, I agree, no, they don't see us, that's the reason why we need to be visible, we need to let them know, we need to thank them for when thinking is due, we need to inspire them when there's inspirational stuff, because to me, it really doesn't sound like they're inspired. That's really what it sounds, and I think that's what community's feeling on the Welcome Center, right?
It's the
Yeah.
same old,
And that's what we wanna do, we
in
wanna help you
Trinidad.
be able to do your job better by inspiring them, right?
Mhm.
No, there's nothing to do in Trinidad, go up Highway 12.
Oh, it drives me crazy, I
There's
just went
plenty to
crazy,
do in
there's
Trinidad.
so
I know.
much to do in Trinidad. Okay, guys,
And-
anything else?
That was your-
No, you started,
no, I'm good.
okay.
Board reports?
Pardon me?
Any reports from the board?
Anybody got any reports, any other reports,
Publicly, I wanna thank Craig and Della for, going away.
That was a fun
That was
time.
nice.
Publicly, I wanna say, wow, you know, you're blown away.
I'm so sorry I could not make it. It was the party of my year. I was so disappointed.
It was funny because when I walked in,
Disappointed.
I showed up at 5 just in case, you know, a lot of people wanted to come earlier to
Right.
leave earlier, and nobody was there. I was like, well, I made an impression. But they all showed up around 6, and there was about 50 to 60
Yeah,
people there. It
so-
was
I'm
nice.
so sorry. It was
Wow.
so wonderful.
I didn't realize you were that popular.
I know, right?
You didn't either.
I think what they were doing is they were toasting, like,
Thank God he's
No,
out of
they
here.
were.
Celebration.
I didn't go there for that either.
We're all proud of you, Jonathan.
Or
What
it's
you
on the
did,
front
and
thoughts.
you're
I sent you-
leaving and you're going, we're all proud
I
of you.
sent you a good present.
You did.
Yes,
I was
I
gonna
did.
wear 'em
What
today,
did
but
you
I
send
forgot.
him?
She gave me a pair of socks.
We're on TV.
I
We're on
know.
TV.
That said this. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a very good popular.
But I-
He's gonna wear him on his first day. at
Yeah, I
his
am
new job.
actually. But I do want to thank Craig and Della, and also for the cake for today as well.
You know about that?
Oh yeah, it's a small town. Come on
I was
now.
like, I'm not supposed to say anything about the cake, right?
No, I asked because I don't have an office anymore, or a computer, or a phone, so
You just wander the halls.
I'm in and out, and so Victor's like, "Can you be here at 2?" And I knew what that was about. And I was like, "Thank you," but staff, and then, but anyway, thank all 4 of you. I've had so much fun with you on our trips, both to Breckenridge and to La Junta. Cy, you're now a good dear friend. Camilla, Craig, no
Oh,
kidding. No, I've enjoyed your blunt honesty,
Thank you.
and then Craig, your dedication to the community.
And we've watched you grow.
Right, we have.
We groomed you
Clearly
well.
not in height.
No, exactly. But yeah,
And
we've
then,
watched.
and then Kathy, it's been a pleasure kind of watching. I was telling Camilla, you weren't in the van, but it was almost like that weird Christmas family vacation type thing going to Grand Junction, because I have my eclectic spiritual mother, my really, really angry aunt, and then my weird cousin, you know? And then my emo sister right here. But
Well, we wish you the best, and we.
That's okay, Jonathan. I'm
come
gonna
back
be the
in a
first
couple
one to
years.
visit you up there in that golden thing. We'll see how much you like me. I'll be the first. You watch. You never know.
But thank you.
Best of luck to you.
I'm gonna send Jerry's cousins after you.
I do apologize for missing, but people had other plans for me.
That's fine.
On a more serious note,
On a serious.
No,
be prudent.
Uh-huh.
You know, before I got here and before Cy got on tourism was spending money left and right and not maintaining and doing it prudently and with return on investment. So just, not everyone can get their money.
I know that.
So
Yeah, not everything.
that's why a lot of people got mad at me, 2 years ago, is we couldn't just hand out money.
Right.
And Cy, luckily had my back. Just be cognizant of that, because you did have to take on a liability this year.
How does that make you feel?
Thank you.
yes, I've already informed of the people that we're talking about advertising the antique stuff here, not magazine, that wasn't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, but
It's hard. I know the Legends is a wonderful magazine, but that is a lot for printing, guys. Yeah.
Oh, and because of Craig's persistence, that fly cam video, you know how many views we've got on Facebook without advertising?
Currently, no.
Well,
20,000.
yeah, we talked about
Yeah,
that.
without a boost?
That's without a boost.
Awesome.
And then I was talking to Craig about that. That's where I'd like to see your money go, is into that electronic advertising, because
It is true.
if
It is
when,
true.
oh,
It is cheap.
I've got a few more things. That is where you're going to get the most hits, because you can target and the people you want to target to. So if you made a fly fishing and outdoor video, then target it in Grand Junction and Fruita, target it in Breckenridge, and you only pay like $3 a day. And then by the time people see it, they share it, and it just grows.
That's the sharing, yeah, that's the sharing part.
Secondly, Kathy Ritter, the Director of Tourism, will be here on December 13th and 14th. I'm working with Tara to do a quick schedule because I'm the one that had set it up, but then things changed. Cy will be with her on December 13th with dinner. It's just her and Cy. But then, because she's staying at La Quinta, but then the next day I want you guys to spend all day with her if you can, promoting your own business, promoting what you offer here, but also showing her the community because and then you'll take her to lunch and breakfast because ED's going to pay for that, not tourism.
The
And John
14th?
didn't wanna stick around.
13th and 14th.
No, he said the 14th.
But no, it's
14th
been
is
really
the
good,
day.
Kathy really.
13th and
really,
14th.
really
Yeah, so 14th is the day.
You don't wanna
guys
fly
will
back
see
home
it.
and, or drive?
But I'm also gonna say, if you guys want to go to dinner on the 13th, Cy said that'd be okay too. I mean, I want you guys to be the ones that sell the community. I don't want it to be city management, I want it to be you guys. You guys
But
want-
I plan on
Yeah.
working with Tara so that we actually have a guideline of everything that we're doing.
Mhm.
So, you know, the background is that she's been wanting to do this for a couple months, and then she saw us when we were at
She
the,
saw our branding.
and she was like, I need to come down, and then she wrote an email, and then she's written a couple more emails to me after that, just, small stuff that she'd like to do, and if Dana, so I called Dana, told her she was gonna be in town, Kathy said she'd love to meet Dana. Dana doesn't know if she'll be able to come here then, but she knows about it, so she may. And so that was huge. I actually thought she would know Dana.
No, she's from Illinois, she doesn't.
Yeah, but you know, she's state director of tourism, it's Dana, you know, so I thought they somehow crossed paths, but anyway. So we'll get a timeline for what happened. She's gonna pull in, that 13th in the afternoon and do a small amount of a tour and dinner that night. But she's bringing the international tourism girl in her office that she likes a lot, that markets Colorado overseas. She's bringing her here and another person too now. So it's growing. So I think it's up to 3 or 4 people now, not just her. So I was trying not to get too out of hand. I was trying to figure out what it was and then get an agenda. You know, we want to show her the best of everything,
Yeah.
not the rundown places.
I could do a small pseudo tour.
Oh yeah, that could be at night. I mean, after we eat dinner, like to have a ghost tour too with her, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the highlights, the best part of it. I wanna do everything highlights, cause one time we had a really magnificent, unbelievably magnificent travel writer who's written for 78 countries in Trinidad. And at that period of time, one of the things we decided was we found out that person liked architectural, buildings. We gave him an architectural, and Ken, whatever his name was.
Thatcher.
Every rundown, dirty, bat-filled top of a building is what he was so excited about the building, and that's really not what she needed to see. She needed to see pretty. So this tour will be all stretched on pretty. Anything that we show will be pretty.
I'll keep it pretty.
Yeah, good. Well, it's just like, and I keep telling people this, but this is the truth. So we used to do all the time at the hotel, and then you hop and you go north, literally from our parking lot to be parked downtown Trinidad. It's less than 8 minutes. You hop on, you see Main Street, you turn right, da-da-da. We no longer do that. We now do, you get off at Commercial Street.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get off of Commercial Street, all the buildings are full, all the sidewalks, the road is filled, everything's right. Then you still get to the same corner and you go right to Tease Me, Treat Me, or Reester's or Moose's, or left to what we no longer bring them in on Main Street, because Main Street, if you don't have anybody begging at Sonic, it's a good day. But after that, you have the back of Safeway, you have a couple old buildings, you have before Space to Create gets done, you have the Los Angeles right here on the corner, and so it's a worse entry point. So everybody at the front desk knows now we take them down Commercial Street, we no longer take them down Main Street. We do if you want gas revenue, but then we don't, you know. But yeah, so that's really important. So it's really important when you give a tour that your tour is a pretty tour, that you're turning down blocks that are also pretty. So anyway, that's really the background of what I'm thinking with Kathy, is that we're going to do the best that we can forward.
Just have them turn off of Main Street down Los Angeles. Because those patios and that one beautiful corner.
Well, then
Camilla's
you see,
beautiful corner.
once they see the pretty part, then they turn to go to Main Street, because everybody wants to go to Main Street anyway. And then it's okay, because if they see Camilla's, it's great. But then it's okay if they see one before Space to Create, because now it looks horrible to guests, right? right now, Space to Create looks horrible. It's gonna look beautiful soon. If you don't have somebody telling you what's gonna happen right there, you just think that's a desolated block in the middle of this beautiful town. So after you turn down there, now, they're still gonna turn down there, and they're gonna see it, and it's okay if they see a bad building, but the first impression should not be that.
Would you like that implemented at the Welcome Center too?
Well, what I really want with the Welcome Center is just, I mean, you're at the Welcome Center, so you can go any direction, because you're already there. So that's a different sort of entry
Okay.
position, you know, you're already there. What I really just would like is for everybody to figure out, what are you in town for? What do you like? What do you hear? And, and I heard when you said a lot of people don't have much time. I don't 100% buy into that. It may be because of the market segment of the age that you're talking about. If somebody takes time to drive off the highway
and stop at a welcome,
Welcome center, yeah.
That's just it, because if I'm in a hurry,
You
the
can-
welcome
I
center is
mean-
the last place I
I mean,
stop
your
at.
beads are so beautiful. Wow, I love it. Why? Do you like beads too? We got the most kick-ass beautiful bead store here. Oh my gosh, I
Well,
love the way,
It's
you know what I
not,
mean?
it's,
selling
but it's
downtown.
not even explaining what's in each other store. It's just explaining to go downtown.
Mhm.
That is the first step in
Trinidad is
explaining
the
town.
coolest
And like I
place.
said, when I traveled, that welcome center is the last thing I'll stop at. And I believe the merchants downtown get so many more people seen in our place than the welcome center does. Sorry, no offense to you, but the
Yeah.
people that come into pot, at the beginning, they weren't going into the stores. Now they're coming into stores and they're talking more freely about it. I do not believe those people are going to the Welcome Center.
Yeah.
I do think they're going there and they're
Right.
stopping out
I
and they're
agree.
asking questions, they're asking where to eat. So I do believe your merchants are some of the first people that anybody sees downtown, anybody. And
Yeah.
the merchants really have to have a positive attitude with any of these. You cannot go in with a crummy, if you go in with a crummy attitude, look out, look out, because, yesterday I did too much talking, that's all I got to
Yeah.
say. My
Yeah.
customers
So-
yesterday
yeah.
was rough,
So they do, they love that, but the ones that do stop at the Welcome Center, they're already there.
They're already there, and I
So
do
they-
send a lot of
If you
people
stop in
down
the
to the
Welcome
Welcome
The
Center.
thing is that honestly, you can tell everybody to go to the First National Bank and check out the stonemasons' work on the First National Bank building. That puts you on the corner of Main and Commercial, and all the little shops and eateries and everything's just right there.
It's just people's attitudes and how they feel about it. My current, I have different spiels that I do as Trinidad has sort of morphed and changed itself. But right now, people say to me, because I've been still sold out, I've been sold out all but 10 days since last March. But anyway, that people say to me, what is going on? I said, it's Trinidad. I mean, it's like hot. It's like South Boulder. It's like everybody wants to come to Trinidad anymore. And I say to people just like that. And they say, oh, well, should I make I'm coming back through in a week. You should make your reservation now. Because I always feel bad when people want a return trip and they can't stay with us because we're sold out. So if you need to, you should do it because, Trinidad is just hot. There's so much stuff that's going on. It's like all the festivals that go on in town, our downtown shopping area, just there's a bunch of hip young people are moving here. There's so much going on. That's what I tell them all the time. That's what you got, because you're
Well,
so.
2016 was the first year since 2010 that we've had population growth by 1%.
That's the ones that are registered.
That's pretty good.
That is very good after we lost 10%
Yeah.
between 2010 and 2015.
And there is a new company, Timber Creek, that is now in town that has hired 54 guys that is doing gas and oil exploration. They bought XT out. They'll be hiring 4
I
more
met
people
them,
a week, every
And
week.
Pioneer's gonna expand
That's
too.
not what was said last night at council.
Okay, well,
No.
they had the meeting at the La Quinta, and I sat in on the meeting. That, as of that day,
What they're
which was
trying
last
to do, right?
Thursday. Well, as of last Thursday, and the guys, the owners of it, were at the hotel last night. I was
Well,
just-
they're the old owners of Pioneer, aren't they coming back? Yeah.
Well, they were, I don't
They
think they
used
were owners, they were affiliated with them.
Affiliated
The one
with them.
guy, actually, he looked really familiar, and then he said, well, I stayed at the Holiday for 10 years when you had the Holiday, and then I was like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why you're familiar. But no, they have 54 men already employed, on the boots, on the ground. They said that from 2 newspapers. I asked if that was true, that right now we have 54 people. You've already hired boots on the ground that are working. They said, yeah, they're gonna hire 4 more guys every week from now till the end of December, and then they're gonna be on a hiring hold till March, because they don't know how many wells they can get to in January and February. Well,
Awesome.
they requested both newspapers to be there when they talked to us. Knowlters were there, county commissioners were there, I was there, and the mayor was there,
Yeah, I know the mayor was there.
Okay.
so. Okay, guys, thanks, everybody's awesome, everybody's.
When's our next, happy Thanksgiving, when's our next meeting? The 14th?
No, your next meeting will be,
Oh, no.
Do we tell Tom to turn his thing off?
your next
Yeah.
meeting will be the 13th,
The 13th.
Isn't
I
that
will
when the
not be
lady's
here the
coming in?
27th, you guys.
but she'll be here.
In the afternoon. So we'll recap that morning real quick.
Well, the 13th, I'm here, the 27th, I am not here.
Oh,
Yeah, you saw off a little bit.
No, I didn't see off, I forgot Sundays.
You're gonna
are
adjourn?
again.
We're adjourned.
I just want him to.
Everybody rocks, everybody's great. Kathy, that's, hats off to you that you got those volunteers and we challenge you. We challenge you to make every single one of them more excited to get about.
We're just dumping more work on you, Cal, there's no.
Hey, that's
When
all
people
right.
start getting challenged, let's challenge them with a couple, let's try and get a couple games going for them.
Incentive
Let's
program,
challenge them.
incentive.
Yeah, let's challenge them.
Spunkies
Good
to
be
the
challenged.
month.
Nobody wants to leave this world the same way they when they were 10 years old. You want to be challenged, let's challenge them.
We need a
Okay.
Pikachu game only in Trinidad.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice, huh?
Is this your new stationery for tourism? It's beautiful. That's
That's
nice.
the new tourism logo.
Yeah, good.
Okay, guys,
And
thanks so much.
did they approve the city for
Yeah,
that?
they approved it last night.
Okay, good.
All
Good
right.
luck to you, man.
Yes, sir.
And
Yeah, I'm this cranky old aunt,
Ah,
I
there.
just, you know,
did you?
You're not
this is not
Oh,
good.
yeah, there.
Yeah,
I just,
I keep asking what the weather is every day. Rain.
7:30.